Hey, good evening, welcome back. The Student StarCraft AI tournament is on again, and well, quite a few recommendations, most of them featuring a certain Zerg, and quite a number of new bots, all from Christian McRave's mini AI tournament, which is pretty hilarious, and well, we'll see a couple of games of that as well. I mean, not from a tournament, but from the bots which have been uploaded to our server. And this is one of the recommendations for today. It's Sungocha versus a microwave. Microwave, opening with a small round of Zerglings. And let's see how Chastened Guk will be ready for that, and with more Marines than there are Zerglings, should be in an okay position to hold this, but let's see. First Zergling getting a few bullets in its nose and, well, taking a bit of a breather on top of the ramp. And more Zerglings are coming, but also more Marines, and right now the Marines are even hugging the SUVs for more cover. And the first Marine has yet to die, and Chastened Guk is taking a small advantage. Oh, there goes the first Marine. Fortunately for Chastened Guk, the badly wounded one, another one, and oh, this one just lives. That's a little bit ballsy from Microwave. Oh, and now half of them bugger off, and the reinforcements get cut to pieces. That's very unfortunate. And behind this, Microwave is now not reinforcing this. That's a pity, because the defenses were broken. Worker count for Chastened Guk is, well, a little bit down, but still okay. 5 up compared to Microwave, and nothing much else is going on. And now, oh, could have won that, old chap, but now with range involved, it will take some doing again. And the Zergling heads straight back home, and the Overlord is very lucky. Oh, might not be so lucky actually, because here come more Marines. And there is quite a little bit of pressure, so even if this Overlord is buying some time for the Zerg, and Microwave will not be supply blocked, there is only one Zergling, well, 5 actually, but there are a couple of Sunkens, and Chastened Guk is suiciding a number of Marines into them, and that's not good. So now with Vulture, the Vulture suicides as well, and now the Hydras are going toe-to-toe with the Marines for no good reason. And let's take stock, because we've got 3 Hydras, which are pretty good at killing lone Marines. Let's see how they do with this Vulture. Oh, pretty good too. Vulture keeps on rolling and rolls straight into the sunken line. That's unfortunate, at least for the Vulture. Now the next one is going to get caught at the bridges, and a mine clips a Hydra, so that's good for Terran. And Chastened Guk, ooh, lays a mine on top of the ramp. And that might just be its saving grace, because, oh, it's going for some kind of a Wraith play. That's interesting. The army composition of both players is really rather suboptimal, and Chastened Guk, deeming the natural unsafe, has taken the mineral only at the other side of the map. So, lots of confusing things going on all over the map. Not least this constant suicide. Oh, and the Hydras, they run from the Wraith. I do not know why, and the Wraith is going straight after the Extractor. So that's pretty wacky. Another Vulture suicides on the turrets, and the Hydras clean up the mines. So far, so good. The Zergling sweeps a mine, lots and lots of suicided units. That's really wacky. But with the added income from this mineral only, I'm sure Chastened Guk will have a devious plan up its sleeve. Oh, those Hydras were very lucky. So, more Vultures and a Wraith coming. There is a mine here, and it's dead. So 5 Hydras can out-micro mine, good to know. Can they out-micro 3 mines? Yeah, not really, and they all sort of die. That's very unfortunate. So, lots of destructive battles going on in the middle of the map, but the Vultures... Ooh, that was a really ugly mine hit. The Vultures are gaining some ground, and now the Hydras... Well, the Hydras are doing okay, but the mines, they just keep running into them, and there are more Vultures coming, and I think that taking a mineral only, oh, and another mineral only, might be a prelude to more Vultures, but there are also going to be more Hydras, as Microwave just completed the 3rd base at the mineral only of its own. And I really wonder what Chastened Guk's game plan is, because we've got 1, 2, 3 factories, 2 barracks, and a Stargate. And is it... Oh, God! Ugh. It's not blue, but it's some kind of a red soup, and that's quite delicious from a non-Zerg standpoint as well. So all the Hydras get killed, and the Zerg moves back to base. Now Chastened Guk tries to suicide some, well, succeeds in suiciding more units into the Zerg hordes, and the Overlord sees all the mines, so that doesn't really work well. And the Wraith suicides again, and this game is spinning wildly out of control, and I don't know why this would be a good place to lay some mines. But Zerg appears to be under some kind of pressure with a lot of Sunkens over here, so no Vulture run-bys from that department. Oh, and more Vultures coming, good god! I think Chastened Guk has got a really wacky build order for 4 Vultures. And there is 1 Wraith all the time, so that's okay. The mine drags are quite epic. And here comes another one. So these Vultures, they can lay quite a number of mines, and the Hydras, they are so swamped in Vultures, there's no end to them Vultures, and you've got depots everywhere, and 2, 3 factories here as well. So 4, 5, 6 factories pumping Vultures, small peek at the unit production tab. Yes, it's all Vultures, the old command center and 1 Wraith all the time. So, going to speed it up just a lot. Oh! Oh no! The poor Hydras, though. Oh, that was almost 10. 10 Hydras at a single mine hit. That was too. Oh, that was too cruel for my eyes to behold. Here they come again. They retreat, but more Hydras are being fed in from behind. No! Oh, that was only 5, but still makes quite a puddle of blood. And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh god! Oh, poor Hydras. And the Hydras are now trying to reach this base. And I got to say for Microwave that it keeps microing, and Chastened Guk just keeps building factories everywhere and building Vultures. Upgrades, yes, upgrading, and Zerg is getting upgrades as well. Zerg is still holding by the virtue of these sunken colonies. Vultures don't really have an answer to those, but the mines! Oh, the mines! Oh, the mines are really taking their toll on the Hydra numbers. The Hydra, they don't know where to... Oh well, there are Mutalisks, so I'd say that's a pretty good switch for Microwave. We've got only 2 and only 2 Wraiths, and the Wraith is still going after the Extractor. And now the Mutas clean up the mines, and almost quite epic mine hits again. But now with 2 Vultures, Mutas overhead, the Vultures don't really stand much of a chance, and the Wraiths appear not to have cloaks, so that's good for the Mutas, and the Raw Scourge out. Meanwhile, what's happening? More Vultures, and well, that's about it really. Main is slowly mining out for Chastened Guk, and it looks like Microwave is gathering steam. Its army size is growing, and these Mutas really get some free kills on all the Vultures. Although I must say that enough Hydra still die to the mines. But with a speedy Overlord tagging along, I say that the Vulture plan has been stopped dead in its tracks. And what will Chastened Guk do? Looks like building more Vultures. 1 SUV is trapped, and with the main out, I think that this will soon be over, as the Muta weapon is gaining traction as well. We've now got a handful of them over the mineral only, and that will of course decrease the income of Chastened Guk. And here we've got the potential of quite a good few mine hits. And the mine! Oh! No, that could have been much better, but still pretty decent. But now there are Mutas over this base as well, and Mutas over this base where mining has stopped, so Chastened Guk is on 1-2 bases only. Well, this one's still mining. And Microwave, what's Microwave doing? Microwave isn't doing anything spectacular either. Is building a morphing a hive, looks like. And once the hive is done, what will we see? Oh, 2 more sunken. Oh, a spore and a sunken probably. So that's pretty good. And versus this kind of Vulture play, of course, it's good to have a lot of Sunkens, because well, the Sunkens are the next best thing after Mutas to deal with Vultures. And Chastened Guk is still doggedly trying to mine up the entrance to its many bases. Ooh, but the Mutas and the Overlord, they take care of the mines in a somewhat effective fashion. So that's that, I would say. Oh, and these are only spores, so they don't really stop vultures all that well, but there will be more mutas and running by 3 sunkens as a small group of badly damaged vultures. It's not really all the... that's a lot of vultures though. The mines are everywhere, the vultures are just pushing back. Well, they're not pushing back the mutas, but all the Zerg ground army's gone. And... oh well, Zerg stopped producing a ground army, so that might account for that. Many more drones, more expansions, and a sunken overhead. So the muta count is growing steadily. It's now 20 mutas versus 7 or 8 vultures. That's not really enough for Terran, I believe. And once these 2 bases come online, and the Terran base gets even more wrecked by these slowly... oh, well, the DPS is there, it just takes a while. So the mutas, they slowly take apart Terran's base. And although some drone transfers get cut down quite thoroughly, oh, there are some hydras again, so that's good. The vultures are here again. And where are the mutas? Oh, the mutas are over here. So they shut down another base, that's good. This base still up and running, and this base is in the shambles. And with all the workers, oh, look at that. There are now 63 Zerg workers online, and Microwave, what are you going to do with that hive? Looks like nothing in particular, just making the next round of air upgrades, because there is nothing like +3 air armor if your enemy hasn't fired a shot in the air. Oh well, there are a few shots landed at an Overlord in the beginning of the game. So right now I think this is officially over. Production tab looks like Terran's still producing stuff. Rebuilt its base over here, that's quite good. But if your enemy's production tab looks like this and your own looks like that, still a lot of vultures incoming. And where is that command center being built? I don't know. But this is pretty much over. There are now 23 mutas, lots of hydras, and Zerg's got an awful lot of money, but it's not really producing anything. Oh, here comes the next round, and that's the GG. So, GG! And the first game goes to Microwave, and a nice play by Chastened Guk, but to no avail. So, next game up, another recommendation. It's Darchin, the Cutest clone or update or whatever. And no, it's not really a clone, it's a successor, it's offspring, although not by the same parent, apparently. And well, Dutchman is going to start with the same beautiful SimCity that the Cutest always likes to do. And Kilobot is going for a lot of drones. Always good to have, a lot of drones, and then that's 10 pool, no, 10 hatch, 10 pool kind of thing. Lots and lots of drones. First scouting probe doesn't really get waylaid. And if the enemy is going for a nice SimCity and a very, very early Nexus, it's called, you've got all the time in the world as a Zerg to do something with that. Namely, build more drones than your Protoss adversary of 2 Nexus. So, more cannons coming. That's really quite defensive. And what's Kilobot going to do? Kilobot's just going to make more workers. That's quite nice. And the third base is up and running. A worker transfer across the map. That's not going to be the most economical, but and defending it as well. So that's a lot of defensive buildings, and there is no sign of the enemy threatening anything. So that's quite careful. Oh, that's really a lot of sunkens, and I don't know what the game plan's going to be. Lots of workers, well, 30 for 3 bases, that's okay. And there is a lair somewhere. Oh, here it is. And there are going to be mutas, though there is 1 muta, but 1 muta does not a summer make, as they say. And there is another one over here, but there are cannons, so they've got to manage 2 fights at once. Here, a small clustering of mutas is going to happen. And the goons, they can't really beat all those sunkens, or should they try to? No, they shouldn't really. And the muta stack is quite nice by Killer, and the worker kills are really racking up. And Darchin doesn't really believe in protecting his workers. The unions are not yet active in this Protoss base, and you can see that the worker count is decreasing rapidly, although the mutas do take quite a lot of damage. Kilobot might actually try and cycle these mutas, so place the badly wounded ones somewhere else, or just try and pester the main base where there aren't half as many goons. Now 2 goons are rolling up to here, and there is nothing there, so that might be a good ploy, but they are going by quite a roundabout way back to their own base. And still, Kilobot is reinforcing its mutant numbers, but the mutas don't really know where to go. And of course they could pick off a stray Dragoon or 2, but the work count of Darchins is pretty low. This sunken wall is quite good, but it doesn't really stand up to this kind of abuse. And now the mutas will have to come back. There they come, but how much damage can these goons do before the mutas are there? Immediately all the drones are being transferred, almost all the drones are being transferred back, and the lair is now under attack. Where are the mutas? The mutas are in the middle of the map doing damn all. That's not good. So, lair in shambles, and the other hatchery is going to be morphed into a lair, and there is nothing there, so that's quite strange. And the mutas, they don't really have, well, how many are there? There are 14, that's quite a nice stack, but as there is a big army in your main, it's not really the time to go and pester the enemy's third. You should be killing units, and quite quickly. The micro is quite good, but the decision making could be a tad better. And if you are going to expend a couple of thousand at APM, you might as well. Oh dear, 2 bases lost. Of course, this base is taken and well fortified by now. Wow, that's a lot of sunkens. Where are the mutas? Oh, the mutas. No, that's an overlord. Where are the mutas? The mutas are here now, and now trying to save the day, and well, of course they can. Their numbers are still good with 10. And the goons are just going to plow straight into this base over here. And this is where mutas are better at. Just sniping units left and right, picking off defenseless goons. Oh, and zealots. And that's good. Just pick out the stray ones, and once your numbers are up, go after the hard-hitting goons. But the micro, the micro is pretty good actually. And these goons have to run for their lives. Let's look at the mutant numbers. There are 13 now. And I really think that if Killer would cycle out the badly wounded mutas, and that's quite some defense. Oh wow. The lair sort of lives, and this base is still sort of defended. Now, where are the mutas? I lost track of them. Oh, they're over the third. So work is lost again. Now, these goons, they had better come in sufficient numbers to deal with the mutas. But the mutas, they drop a couple of balls, and their numbers decrease down to 9. That's not really enough. Production tab-wise, more mutas are coming, so that's good. And the Cutest, sorry, I should say Darchin, is not getting very much done here. And this base is slowly being brought back online, although only as a muta building station for now. A couple of drones could not hurt all that much. And you've got enough. Oh, a couple of overlords died, so that's not good. One muta here. Oh, the mutas are there again with their small cluster. And oh, the goons are falling left, right, and center. And now the muta cloud is really picking up speed. The pylon is going down. This base is being terrorized, completely dead. And now, what are the mutas going to do? Are they going to find this base? Yes, they will. But Zerg should be careful that this base will be vulnerable, as the Protoss war machine is still running full speed. But this Nexus is being run into the ground at record speed. Should just take one last shot at that pylon, just to make really sure that nothing, or the Protoss sphere of influence is, yeah, it's down, it's gone. And now, oh dear, Zerg can't let that happen. Where are the mutas? They've got to come an awful long way, and one Zergling is trying to deal with 2 Reavers. There are some Sunkens over here, but this is not a base that Zerg can lose, and that's quite too many. Surely that's got to be too many goons to tear straight into, but the mutas are doing it. They are one-shotting the goons. The real problem is, though, that these Reavers have been left unmolested. Oh wow, they're one-shotting Reavers. Now there are 23 mutas stacked. They're out with out on a mission. Zerg taking another base, now building drones again. Oh, there is an Archon. That's got to be way too dangerous for these mutas. That was so much damage. Oh, but the Archon dies, and now Protoss is in a bit of a pickle, because the main is out, the natural's running low, the work count isn't all that good, and there are still, although they are quite badly damaged, there are still a decent number of mutas, 14, 13. The mutas should really learn when not to engage too much. All the workers are getting killed. 11, the muta count is dropping. But these bases have been brought online again, although the drone saturation is way too high over here. Nothing there, nothing here. And that's not good at all. The mutas, where are the mutas? Mutas with some Zerglings are rounding up the last defending Dragoons. And how much muta force is left? Well, there are 10. That's still okay. Let's look at their upgrades. They've got +2 damage. That's quite good. And the Protoss economy is in shambles. Wow. And now a huge drone transfer is coming over. And I think that Killabot just did it with the mutas. What damage did they pack? There are 11, only 11 left. They have been used as a main battle weapon, a thing which I always advise not to do, but they have prevailed. And Protoss is in a huge mess. There is nothing left. There are only 3 workers, and there are some Zerglings running up to the cannons. And look at how that cannon just got one-shotted by 13 meters. The Muta Micro of Killabot is so good, and now no mining going on here for some reason. I really don't know what that's about, but with the 2 base income, Zerglings are coming over the top. Have they got any upgrades? No, but it doesn't really matter. The mutas are there, and excess minerals are being spent in Zerglings for some extra DPS. Darchin leaves the game, and Killabot wins it. Wow, that's quite a feat. And now I can understand why there have been so many recommendations of Killabot. It is absolutely awesome. So let's see the next game, and this is one of Purple Wave's creations, or I should say Dan Gant's creations. It's Purple Wavelet, and it's one of these very tiny, small, bite-sized bots of Christian McRae's tournament, and let's see what it's going to do. Looks like a 2-gate, and if you haven't got that much code to spare, a 2-gate is always a very good start. As an opponent, I picked Steamhammer, and well, you may say that's really rather cruel because Steamhammer's quite good. But a 2-gate, well, 2-gate is a decent opening, and with Zealots you never know, they pack quite a bit of damage, and lots of workers are being built, so I'd say that these Zealots have got to make a run for it. But I am sure that more Zealots will be coming once they've stopped playing tag with this. Oh, this poor hapless drone, but now there are quite a number of Zealots, and I think that Zerg has to hightail it or lowtail it out of there, really. The Natural's up and running, and this is going to be all about Zerglings and Zealots, and although you've got quite a small and sophisticated bot, mutas, oh, and that is how it's done. Just cycle out the badly wounded mutas, and you shouldn't press off with 3 Zealots if the enemy is going pure Zergling. And Steamhammer's also trying to cycle out the badly damaged ones, or the Lings that is. And what will we have for a follow-up? A 3rd gate. So this is pretty much all-in tug of war happening in the middle of the map, and Zerg seems to be having it. Once you cycle out, and you should really seed the ground and allow your Zerglings to heal up, like Steamhammer is doing now with the Sunken as well. And then you should just play the numbers game. Of course there aren't any upgrades, and once you have that Sunken, just fight with it. It's doing so much damage even to small units, especially compared to a Zergling, and it's got a lot of hit points, so that should be good. Meanwhile, more gateways coming up, and this is going to be all about Zealots. Look like Steamhammer snuck out a drone and builds a natural 3rd. Drone count for Steamhammer is really rather low. Steamhammer always trying to get by with such a low drone count, and in the late early game, even then it's hurtful because you can't really put out that many units. You can see the money for Steamhammer is just not there, and it's quite fragile because the army is tiny. Protoss army is quite good, and there is only 1 Sunken, so that's not going to work. There is no tech. A couple of Hydras are coming to come into play. But I think that the 2-gate might have just done it for Purple Wavelet. Well, that's quite good, and Steamhammer's now even losing some workers and an entire base, at least control of it, and the Hydras are so badly migrated they just keel over and run straight through the Zealots. That's not good, and Purple Wavelet is just going to build more Zealots. Production tab is looking like a lot of pylons because it's getting supplied up quite quickly. But by now the army count is 42 to 1, the drone count of steam hammers in the toilet, and the zealots are over everything. So although they don't really know what to kill first, their targeting is not as sophisticated as that of its big brother Purple Wave. They are getting the job done, and now there is 50 supply worth of zealots, and there is only 2 Zerg army supply to try and deal with that. Of course, I still got to see that they can find this base over here, but as there's nothing mining, I don't think that it's going to be a lot of a big problem for Zerg. Now, oh, that's it. Steamhammer leaves the game. The 2-gate wins, and Purple Wavelet takes a victory. Oh no, not again. I just want to load the next game. So it's Potato Masher versus O-Fish, and I've got to have a peek to see. O-Fish is by Jasper Gertz. I don't know, that's one of the Leiden guys, and Potato is by Hannes Bradberg. So that's pretty good. And you can see Killerbot has just updated, Egbert has been updating Crazio, Asbert, O-Fish, Potato Mash, Purple Wave, Look Cutest, Brian Webber, Banana Brain, and Simplicity, and we're all going to show them to you. So no worries, the games will be good. If they haven't been for you now, you'll just turn off because they have been pretty good. And O-Fish is going for what looks like a 3-4 pool. And a 4-pool beats a 2-gate. The thing is unpowered. Oh, the gateway was, and now the Zergans are all over it. And that's the game. So we've got another 4-pooler, but oh no, it's not really a 4-pooler. It's going to transition into something. But we'll need to have another game to see what it actually is going to do. But that will have to wait for another week. And God, I have so many games with Killerbot. Just do another one, this time versus Teasing Random, rolling as Terran. In the top left as White. Oh dear, what's this going to be? We are seeing 3 scouting SUVs, that's very quick. And Killerbot is going to place a... no, not going to place anything. He's going out to scout as well, and all the SUVs are coming off, so that's pretty wacky. And only one is going to remain at home to mine some more. There isn't even a... there is no supply depot. And now, ooh, that is the drones will have to fight for their lives, but I think there aren't even going to be any minerals for nothing. So TSMU won, I think, and build a depot. Mining's going on. And, oh well, Zerg restarted, that's pretty good. And the SUVs are still trying to teach that hatchery a damn good lesson. But Killerbot snuck out a drone, and now we've got 2 drones and a sunken, because... oh dear, that thing is still there, the spawning pool. But TSMU is now gathering steam, and this cannot last long. It's a pretty good comeback by Killerbot, I've got to tell you that. And the Sunken is doing a lot of damage to the SUVs, but I doubt that it will take TSMU too long to make more units. So the first unit is actually going to be a Valkyrie, and then Killerbot will be supply blocked until the end of the game, with only 1 supply, and well, that can be quite difficult. The natural, or the main, is retaken, I should say, but with this poor Zerg situation, with a Valkyrie killing all the overlords, it's just not going to be much fun. And the tank is going to, with some repair, going to kill the sunken colony again. And yeah, what can you say? Oh, that's pretty good. But TSMU's got 3 bases online, is only making upgrades for some reason, and no actual units. Oh well, there's some units. And our radiate. So, yeah, Killerbot doesn't really get a chance anymore. This game is over. And although there are some drones left, this is the GG. Wow, GG, that's quite a good one. And, well, let's have a look at Simplicity, because Simplicity also updated. It was pretty good. So, let's see what it's going to do. We saw some nice drops earlier on. And let's see if it's staying that one-trick pony or if it's going to use drops like does Seda or the Samsung AI. Oh, and I like that. We've got 10 years of AI development and still the scouting drone worker goose chase thing is a thing. And now there are a lot of Zerglings and there is only one bunker, so... Ooh, that's going to be... Well, with the repairs it's going to be quite easy. And Icebot thinks, well, if I see that number of Zerglings, I'd better build another bunker just to be sure. Not blocking anything, not a thing precipitate. And just roll out my game plan behind that. And Simplicity has got quite a number of Sunkens. That's good. Behind that, the lair. Let's look at the upgrades. Oh, we've got some lurker thing coming. I hate to give it away like that, but I was looking for drop. And the thing is, without a portrait somewhere here where I can see what a certain building is doing or how many kills a unit has, it can be quite difficult to know what's going on. I've got to infer everything from what's actually on screen. And this, of course, is as tight a defense as you can get. Now, ICE has scanned the lair, and if it scans the lair, it assumes it's playing the Berkeley Overmind, and there will be Mutalisks. So it builds a fair bit of anti-air, and then it will, of course, follow up for the Spire. And if there is no Spire, it will make some tanks as well, placing them on the high ground. That's very well done. Third base started for Simplicity. That's very good as well, I'd say. And Simplicity is going... I was trying to look at something else. Okay, there is a lurker over here. That's so hard to beat. And Simplicity is keeping its army in base. Let's look at the upgrades. Lots of upgrades, and that's drop coming. Speed is there already. So we are going to see drop again. Now there is a third command center, and you can see that this Zerg army is taking its sweet time getting anything done. And although Icelab has got a great army, it's very hard to use it as it's not very mobile. It's only a handful of Goliaths and all the tanks can be quite vulnerable. Third base for Simplicity is now up, no worker transfer, that's... so macro-wise, Simplicity could do a little bit better. Oh, and that... well, of course the scans go off, and although the lurkers do some damage, it's not really the most, and the worker transfer to the third succeeds, so eco-wise, Icebot is in a much better position, and the entire army of Simplicity heads back home and is now being loaded into the Overlords. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Where is it going to hit? Is it going to go this way and then it will hit the expansion, or that way and it will hit the other expansion? But it appears... Where are they? Oh wow, that's quite a number of Overlords. It appears to be going the long way round, and that's a trick that Crazio and Icebot do themselves, so it's good to see these newer bots use it and upgrade it as well, because Crazio and Ice only use one dropship for harass, just kill some workers, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, I don't know if Ice has got the inkling of what's going on. Some Overlords, but they aren't perceived to be dangerous, so the push is going straight down the middle of the map, and looking at the remnants of the Zerg army, so everything that's not loaded into an Overlord, it can be quite hard for Zerg to hold this. Some Zerglings get dropped over here. The SCVs defend themselves quite effectively. Yeah, that's the Zergling threat. This, though, is going to be a little bit more of a problem. And the Hydras are going for the production immediately. That's some strange prioritizing, especially considering there will be tanks to deal with all the Hydra numbers. And killing workers is always a good idea. Might actually go for the command center. That might deal Terran A. Oh, they wasted the machine shop. That's not good at all. And killed some workers. So I think a lot of damage was done. But the gain of this drop really was that this army did no longer control the middle area of the map. And Simplicity found time to put up a fourth base. Third base is now completely up and running, well defended, except with no anti-air, and that's something that these newer bots do a lot better too. Seda is using 2 tanks and 2 Goliaths to defend a new base, and well, I don't say that Simplicity is doing it perfectly, but these aren't any half measure, so you buy a little bit of time. Oh, and I completely missed the Zergling run by. Workers haven't been transferred out, so the worker count for Ice is pretty depressed, but with 4 command centers, it's doing quite okay. And now Zerg is going to have to fight hard. And these factory units, they've got pretty good upgrades. They've got the +1/+1 already, and although Zerg is killing quite a number of Terran units, it's paying a hefty price for doing so. And ooh, the lurkers are pretty good, but versus all these tanks and mines, I doubt it. And they should now retreat because they are pretty dead all by themselves. And Simplicity has got a good economy, and I like how it's not really wasting its army. You see many Zergs taking their army out into the open and having it damaged. Simplicity's army... Oh, we've got an Ultra. That's pretty quickly done. And it's pretty fast as well. So Simplicity is good at hiding its army and only using it when there is a battle to be fought. That is a pretty good irradiate, doing lots of damage to adjacent units. And Zerg, oh, it's so focused on killing factories that Ice does get the opportunity to bring its Goliaths. And Goliaths versus Lurkers isn't as fair as it seems. The Goliaths are pretty tough, and they have got a high rate of fire and decent damage with their double cannons. So Zerg armies really rather reset, you would think, but all the armies standing around here, and it's very hard to know how much army Simplicity has at any given point in time, taking another base, but so does Ice. And Ice's army, you can see, has been hurt a little bit by those battles, first one in the suburbs and earlier on one in the middle of the map, but now has got a huge tank army and has got the +2, +3 is starting, and these mech units, they get progressively better as the upgrades for mech are considerably better than those for Zerg infantry units. Zerg upgrades are all over the place, lots of upgrades. And is there ultra speed and ultra armor? There is. And now there's some kind of a flank going on, but... And again the entire Terran army turns, and that's 80 supply army just has to move back, although these tanks would have done splendidly by themselves, and the Zerg army just retreats straight through the tanks and some friendly fire is done, but that Zerg army was completely wasted just by retreating straight through the tanks. That was not the best maneuver it could have pulled off. And now a single Goliath is going to town on this spore. This will be a sunken, so perhaps, I don't know. Oh, and still there are lurkers, and still this Terran army... Oh, and there are lurkers here as well, so Simplicity is really on top of the harassment situation. It's doing a lot of damage, and the first Goliaths are going to get killed, and 2 scans needed, but with 4-5 command centers. And now Simplicity is killing over here. This base is still under attack. That's not good for Zerg, but Simplicity is cleaning that up as well and killing a Terran base in the process. That's very good. Simplicity has got a great army, and it's... Oh god. Owen's coming back. Not for an attack, but just for a parade, and these tanks have got a funny afternoon. Yeah, right, our base was killed, but this... and that's how you throw away 50 supply worth of carefully collected Zerg army. And these signs was, here are the lurkers are here, kill them! And the tanks say, well yes, sure, well, why not, we already killed 50 supplies, so a couple of lurkers will do in as... Oh god. Oh no, that tank. Oh, the tank finally got killed due to friendly fire. That's some kind of justice. And now there is no army left to defend that base because these are all spores, because the science vessels are so very deadly. And Simplicity is really... It had this game won, but now it's mulling about. Oh, and loading up its army over here for another drop, same direction, and that's an awful long way round. And 3 Goliaths are going to kill this base because Simplicity just plain out refused to build a single sunken. And all the tanks, they go straight back home before running this base completely into the ground. And I really don't know what's up with Ice or Simplicity, both of them dropping some quite significant balls. And, oh, the science vessels need to be repaired, probably. Might be a good idea. And, oh yeah, that's how you do it. The workers are being dropped straight into the Goliaths, that's pretty lousy. And 2 Hydras can't do much with 4 Goliaths if they've got quite good upgrades. Oh, and here come the drops. And, oh well, now the Zerg army will fight, that's good. and kill quite some Goliaths. So the Goliaths versus Hydras and Zerglings, okay. Versus Ultras, not so much. Oh, and there are even 2 lurkers over here with the scans going off. I think that's going to be over. And, well, the depot will need some repair, but you got the job done quickly. Now Ice is in a bit of a bind because it got shifted out of 2 bases. And Zerg, although you might not... Oh, this base still lives somehow. I think that this bit of army showed up to save it just in the nick of time. And Zerg still upgrading. No, there is a hive. Yes, of course there is a hive, because otherwise there would not have been an Ultra. And Zerg is really saving a lot of army. And Ice has got this one base, retaking this base over here. It needs a base and it needs to protect it. And it's really placing too much emphasis on its own main. And I haven't seen Simplicity do a frontal attack on this natural choke since forever. And that's good. But Ice would really like to have some kind of defense over here, and of course the SCVs, they might kill a handful of Zerglings, but the problem really is that there isn't really a handful of Zerglings, it's a Christmas box full of them, and now it's too late to do anything about that. So Ice is down to 0 bases, although this base is sort of up. Worker transfer is very difficult past 3 lurkers, and I must say that Simplicity has got some excellent map awareness and is very good at hiding its army. We saw the army march past a full tank line, and that was not good. And Ice has still got a good army. It's got 50 army supply at least, and is now going to get some worker kills back and some friendly fire, unfortunately, as well. But that's about all. And Zerg, well, with 1 Hydra you can't really save that. But again, a lurker finds that base and takes care of it. So Ice is basically all out of income. Nice scan going off and the lurker will be killed. But if this is your income and the enemy's got 3 bases mining, 1, 2, 3, yes, this one's not yet taken. And what's that SCV going to do? Going to die? No, it's going to turn tail and run. Oh, and Ice now losing a tank to a stray pack of Zerglings. And still you can see this huge Zerg army. It's almost double the size of the Terrans. Just roaming the map. Getting a little bit stuck on a bridge, but still. So the Overlords are there again. That's a lot of Zerglings. Production tab full of Zerg, and Terran is trying to re-establish some kind of economic position in this game. It's there, but the army is so tiny, and although this is a good defensive position, you'd really want to... Ice has so few minerals. Even hasn't got enough minerals to repair all its tanks. And Zerg just lets this go on, and the entire army stuck over here. And I'm sure that these Overlords... Oh, here's some Zerglings. And 5 of them die, and the entire army is stuck over here, and I think that quite a portion of it it's hidden in these Overlords. So Zerg's basically maxed. Oh, and finally some lurkers, they shut down this base, so something is happening, but I've got the bad feeling that we've got about 40 army supply over here and an unknown amount over there, and of course there is a lot of stuff standing around here as well, so that's quite hard to estimate what actually is happening in the Zerg mind right now. Here comes the Zerg army and some Overlords. They are ferrying back and forth. Hard to say what they are actually doing. Oh, and that command center didn't get lifted, so the army was too late. Blundering mech army. And now Zerg is standing over here, maxed, running up the bank. Got any upgrades coming? No, all the upgrades are there basically. Oh well, the +2. Oh well. More bases taken. Oh, an SCV has taken. Oh, this will be sunken surely, so this will soon be over. Okay. Might this hatchery actually die while the entire Zerg army is stuck over here? Oh, that's pretty lousy. Oh, but here is a decent sized drop rolling up. And slowly but surely. Oh, and the SCV did eventually get killed by this sunken, but not before bringing down 7/8 of this hatchery's HP. Oh, and more drops are imminent. Or at least loading. Perhaps a drop from two sides, as there is some army over here as well, but here comes... It's not really a doom drop, but it's pretty unpleasant for the Terran. And Terran is sieged over here, now is rolling up. But it will lose some tanks. 46, 42, 40 supply. Irradiators going off, 33 ultras there, and I think they are going to die, but not before taking out a considerable number of siege tanks. And now the Zerg push is over, and Terran has been reduced to 18 HP and some damaged buildings, and 5 Hydras are still going at it. And the hatchery with a comsat station, how often do you see that? Not often. So Zerg's taking all the bases and still stuck at this bridge thingy. Still got a lot of armies standing around here. And yeah, I'm going to speed it up just a tiny little notch because these tanks will soon kill these Hydras. Terran, what can you do? Here come some Zerglings. And a frontal attack this time. Didn't manage to carry the Terran defenses by storm. That's not to be suspected, although there are only 3 tanks and some Goliaths left. 16 army supply all in all. Oh, and 2 lurkers get dropped and immediately killed, but yeah, the Goliaths are down, and now it's just the 2 lurkers and the 3 tanks. Oh, and the Lings, they just can't make it past that depot. And still the Zerg armies over here. There are 73 workers, 20k, 6k in the bank. That's quite enough, and this is a pretty good defensive position. And oh, the Irradiate kills 2 overlords. So, simplicity, what are you going to do? Build a lot of overlords, because why not? Here come some overlords, here comes some Hydras, and here comes some Zerglings, and the Zerglings get killed. And here comes the army finally getting unstuck from the bridges, and these 3 tanks, although they fight gallantly, they succumb to the Zerg pressure in the end. And that is the game. I'm going to call the GG because... oh, well, this is the GG actually, so well done. I've got 4 games left. Let's take this one, because we haven't seen Seda play yet, and it is pretty good. So it should be an interesting game. As the opponent, I have picked the Zerg Proxy. Took one of the replays, and Proxy has been hitting pretty decent strokes all week. Its macro is pretty good, which it already was. And now it's learning to play more sophisticated. Of course, Zerglings versus a Vulture. And this one Vulture did away with 6 Zerglings, that's pretty good. But with a Sunken up there, it can't really be done. Unless there is going to be a run-by and more Zerglings ferry out to meet their maker, or at least a Vulture. And their maker after that. Now Proxy is basically contained, and Ice is, well, bumbling happily in its base. If we look at the ELO rating, we've got Seda at the number 1 with 2,404. And 11 points behind that, we've got Cutest, 3 points down, Crazio. And then a little bit of a gap to Banana Brain, Darchin, Purple Wave. And, well, Teasing Random still up there as well. Last update, oh, well, it's July, that's not that bad. Same can be said for this one. But Seda is, well, being pursued from all angles, and if you are the number 1, of course, that is to be expected. Killabot and Purple Swarm are both doing okay. And Killabot, of course, with the Mutamicro and Cherry Pie. Haven't seen an update from it in ages, but will be pretty good. It is an AWIDE, and perhaps it received an update, but none of the coders is talking about it. Now, Seda with the Vulture Harass, that's as good as a contain as Iron and Crazio do. And TSM Turn, of course, that's pretty devious as well, with the Vultures. But Proxy snuck out a drone, started the 3rd base, work transfer, should give away where the base is, but this... oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, this Vulture doesn't inquire any further, and That was very lucky for these drones. And a fourth base started as well. So, although Seda is doing a little bit of damage with this contain... Oh wow, that's another base. That's pretty ballsy to try and defend so many drones with only 2 Hydras. And here comes the Terran army to make short work of that. And Proxy had better try and think of something to stop this Terran army, because these tanks will make short work of these sunken colonies as well. You can see it's 44 versus 9 army supply. Seda not waiting, taking the opportunity to build a third over here, taking the natural and record speed. And oh, Hydras are pretty cool, but they are not necessarily the best weapon against a concerted mech push of the best bot at this moment, or of any mech against any mech push. And transferring workers like that is not going to earn you many brownie points either. Lurker thing coming up. Let's see how good that is going to be. But there is a science vessel overhead, and by now there are so many siege tanks, and Seda isn't sticking its neck out too far, so this might be a pretty hard for Proxy to get out of. And Seda mining up all the bases like a true Terran mech player. And as expected, the Lurker play falls flat on its back. The Vultures enter the main base, and now it is a Terran breakfast, or lunch really, because all the game has been playing for about a quarter of an hour. And Proxy is in dire straits now. Seda take another base, nice bit of mining up here at the choke. And Seda not really breaking a sweat. Proxy, oh well, transferring some more workers into that is not okay. And this one Hydra has got his work cut out for him, but a Matrix Goliath does away with it. And although Proxy is trying to restart, there is 0 tech. And these hatches are not going to do anything. And if you've got 5 hatches in production and your base is full of Vultures and Goliaths, Seda is maxed, that's going to be the game. So that was Proxy. Let's have a good PvP, because you can never have enough of those. The Cutest hasn't been updated in a while, Banana Brain has. Let's see how this is going to play out. The Cutest, of course, need I remind you of the ELO rating. The Cutest is the number 2 at this point, and it is pretty damn good. Oh, well, it did receive an update, I totally missed that. And, oh, 1 day after Banana Brain. So, yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Should not have missed that. And Banana Brain going for an unprotected expansion. The Cutest appears to be going for some kind of Templar tech. Yes, there you go. What will we have? Ooh, Dark Templars. That's always good. But with 2 cannons coming up, I think that Banana Brain is in an okay position to hold that. And it's a good thing that the Cutest takes a natural behind that. But perhaps... oh well, the Zealot's going after the Goon, and the DT's taking swipes at the Zealots. That's good. Oh, 1 Zealot dies. And the concept of Dark Templar is apparently lost on these poor Zealots, and well, they do sort of die because of their lack of understanding. And now it's a whole different game, because although there is a cannon, the Dark Templars just run up to it and run it into the ground. The natural is completely gone, and quickly cannons are being thrown up in the main, so the main is sort of safe. And the Cutest doesn't try to overextend and take the main by storm, just takes the natural out, and that is good, because then you've got the natural of your own. You've got a well, small worker disadvantage, but you've got this huge worker army advantage, and you can always try and harass the main a little bit more once that natural is out of commission. And you can even chase a Goon in the main. That's good. So, Goons of Cutest is coming up, and Cutest immediately taking the opportunity by the tail and making a lot more buildings. Now with an Observer, and that's some excellent adaptive play by Banana Brain. With the Observer is able to eject all the Dark Templar from this realm and into the next. But now there is a Goon contain going on, and if you've got a Goon contain on your hands, you'd better pray it's not the Cutest microing them, because the Cutest micro is pretty damn good. And the Dark Templars even backing that up. So, oh, there is a Reaver, but it didn't get to fire a shot. And 2 cannons and a goon. I think that the Cutest doesn't really want to meddle with that at this point. Although in the pretty near future it's going to be a whole different story. As the natural's up and running, the 3rd is populated and even mining gas, and the 4th has already been completed. And Banana Brain is really a sort of spectator in this game. Just got out-microed and out-thought at every stage, and the Cutest is, well, taking its sweet time. That must be said. You could take down these buildings on the high ground to prevent any kind of vision. Oh, and with the Reaver now, Banana Brain is in an okay position. The army sizes are comparable at this moment. But the Goon Micro of the Cutest is going to be quite good. And, oh, Banana Brain needed that couple of good Scarab hits and has restarted the natural. So if it manages to... Where's the Observer? Oh, it's guarding the Reaver for some heavy damage. Well, the army sizes are going to bifurcate wildly as the natural isn't even up and running, and the Cutest has been mining from 4 bases for a long time. And although the Cutest is wasting some Dark Templars, there are also... Wow, that's a lot of cannons. Where are all the cannons going to be? Just for defense. And I think that after this round of cannons done... Oh, well, Banana Brain did manage to complete that natural. That's pretty good. And with this one Reaver, it shouldn't overextend right now, because there are still Dark Templars out of there claiming their toll, taking a couple of odd swipes, and Banana Brain's being chased back to the natural choke. Immediately, the Dark Templars are sticking their noses in a little bit too deeply, and there is a lot of Scarab damage coming out of the throat of Banana Brain. And now the Reaver is under attack, and all the goons are over there. The Goon Micro of the Cutest is still unrivaled, and now the natural will be destroyed for the 2nd time. The main will be out soon, and the Cutest taking a 3rd base. There are observers all over the place, but the sad fact is that it's 70 versus not even 10 army supply, and the Cutest's goon are now entering the main base. Both of them got range. The Cutest has got the +1 and all kinds of observer upgrades for Banana Brain, so the priorities there are not all that optimal. The last cannon is going to fall, and this is the game, so I'm going to call the GG. Last recommendation of today is going to be Darchin versus Killabot. And after that I've got one more game, and it's going to be a TVT, and I'm not yet going to tell you between but you may guess. So Killabot going for 3 quick hatcheries, as Dutchman, as did the Cutest, is going for a very defensive setup once again. Didn't I already cast a game of Killabot vs Dutchman today? Well, let's look at this thing while I have a look at that. One moment, please. I already did one. Oh well, sorry, can't be helped. It's a good game, probably because it was a recommendation. And if I do get 2 recommendations, I'll cast them both. So we see the same game plan with a lot of Sunkens, and Darchin still trying to push forward, losing a lot of units, but Killabot is still there. So here are the Mutas, and the Mutas are coming home to try and defend against the Goons. The Goons, they do not contend the Mutas at this point. They do now, they lose 2. And 1 Muta gets lost, and it's very hard for Killabot to decide exactly when to hit, but I must say this is the best Muta micro I've ever seen in an AI, and the damage potential is outrageous. Even if it isn't really hitting a pack of goons at each swipe, it is pretty good, and it's preventing all these goons from doing too much damage and to gathering large numbers, because there are only 5 goons out now, and the Mutas are mopping up any goon that's coming out of the factories of Darchins. Now, the fact of the matter is that there is still going to be a goon trail, so you might think, well, where are they going? And that is excellently done, just evading the goons. And now the Mutas are coming back to help and defend over here. Oh, and the Muta cloud is by now so strong. I'll select them, and the Mutas are still in the area. So let's see how many hits it takes for the Muta Cloud. Oh, they are one-shotting goons. Oh, well, not really one-shot. Oh yeah, there are one-shotting goons. Look at the damage. Oh, blue soup everywhere. Even the Ling is coming to help. Mutas are getting pretty low. And now some workers. Oh, the worker damage is insane. Third base by Darchin is up and running. But Darchin really can't exit the base, and these mutas, they've got to be really careful because they are so juicy. They shouldn't run into this kind of a concave that the Protoss does. Just pick up stragglers, and if they are going into a beeline, you just might want to attack one of the ends. And the mutant numbers aren't all that high. They are sort of dispersed, and now 3 more are meeting up with the main body, but the goon production is really insane. It's just goons, goons, goons. Oh, and now a thingy, a Reaver. So now the mutas are there again, and we've got a small bunch here and some more there, and it's a good thing that Killerbot isn't really saying, well, if I've got 17, I want 2 bunches of about 10, because that would really make a Jadon start. Look at the damage they are doing. Good God, they've got 18 mutas, and they are dropping the ball a bit, but the goons having to come back means that Killerbot can take another base, and it's 3 versus 4 bases, and the mutas are doing a lot of damage, and also taking way too much damage. And this base is completely undefended. Haha, so found. And before there is any goon over here, it's going to take a while, and all the probes will be gone. And now the mutas will have to flee, and where are they going to flee to? To the edge of the map. Oh, and straight back into the natural. That's pretty good. Taking a couple of cannon hits, that's not good, but killing a lot of workers. You can see the worker count for Darchin is pretty low. And oh, there is a nice sizable goon force has arranged itself over here, and now the mutas really ought to come back, and they are coming back to help and defend. More mutas are added, and once they reach the army, they are back in force, and there are 20 mutas in that cloud, and they are doing so much damage. Look at the upgrades. Wow, the upgrades. The upgrades plus 2 damage. So Killerbot really committing to this, not taking a 4th base yet. I think that's a mistake. Darchin still on a low worker count. 24 workers is not the most, and all these goons will die before they reach home. Home defenses are still a bit oh, look at the damage. Killerbot all over this Protoss, and the Muta Cloud keeps on growing. It's almost 30 now, and the damage potential, oh, boom, there it goes, die. Oh, poor goon. So, yeah, what I was saying was that Killerbot is not really going for a 4th as quickly as it can. It has got the minerals. Boom. Look at that. Oh, you can't. This is like fighting in the shade. The mutas will blot out the sun. And then said the Lycodemian Protoss, we will perhaps fight in the shade. And look at that shade. Oh, that is a Muta Cloud consisting of nearly 50 mutas. Zerglings are coming in to help. Are there more mutas in production? Yes, there are. And it's only waiting for Killerbot to perfect, or for Marion Viveka to perfect the muta micro and decision making of Killerbot. And the other players will have to think up some kind of ploy, Archon, Storm, Maelstrom, whatever, because this is a lot of damage. And now let's see, here come the mutas. There are 54. Here they come. Boom, says the cannon. And the oh god, GG! Killerbot takes another one, and well-deserved win over Darchin. Last game of today. It's going to be Crazio versus Seda, and the Crazio has been #1 for a long time, but is now really feeling the heat of all these other great bots which are under active construction and improvement, and that is, well, it must be right now at the top. It is hell. There are so many good bots, and everyone can take a game of anyone with the right build order. And here is a scouting marine. Oh, and another one. Hello. What's this? Oh dear. There is a barracks right in the middle of the map. And Crazio is going for marine. Oh, there are now 2 of Seda's, but Seda's Marine Micro is not good at all. Crazio barely lost any HP in that Marine engagement. And perhaps Crazio is banking on Seda only being able to play mech. Crazio's Micro isn't that good either, but the worker numbers of Seda's are dropping, and that's going to be a bunker. So Crazio is, no, not fully committed. There is going to be SCV production behind that, but this one barracks is going to produce more and more fighting spirit for Crazio, and now Crazio with the bunker and one extra Marine is in an excellent position now, even pestering the depot, and this one Marine is pretty dead because there is a vulture out there, and now Seda might be coming back because it's got the factory and should be going for a tank now because it can hold off the... Oh no, it lost! Oh, it threw away the vulture. That's so sad, and an SCV. So the concept of a bunker rush is completely lost to Seda. And here comes some... Oh, the Marines are damaged already. And with the bunker over there... Oh, now the tank... Tank's doing okay. It will deny access to the base to all these Marines. And now it should stay out of range of the bunker. And it's going after one Marine. And it's getting completely killed in the process. That's not good. The next tank... Will we have siege mode? No, we will not. And the tank just taking way too much damage from the bunker. Behind that, Crazio is building a factory of its own. Worker production has continued. So Crazio, with a very ballsy play, putting a lot of pressure on Seda, is now in an okay position. And Seda behind this is building workers and is building tanks, and should not be losing HP or tanks in general to this kind of... I'm not saying Crazio didn't deserve something of a win by taking this huge risk, but the way in which Seda is dealing with this bunker rush is suboptimal to say the least, and I'm sure that the lads from Samsung might wish to address this in their next update, because otherwise we are going to see a lot of more bunker rushes. And Crazio, well, cheap victories also count, and Crazio isn't there yet, but you can see that the tank is rolling up, and siege mode for Crazio is done, and some more SCVs are being sent over. The worker count is 2-1 in the favor of Crazio's advantage. This tank is going to kill itself on the bunker. Again, it doesn't even glance at it, it doesn't even fire at it properly. And now the SCVs are there, and the siege tank is there, and Crazio is just going to build more and more now with 2 factories and the academy. So yeah, that's going... I think that's going to be the GG, unless Seda pulls a magic rabbit out of its hat, and I don't think the hat is going to be that deep for it to hold a magic rabbit. Now, no siege mode for Crazio, and the second tank is rolling up with 2 tanks. I think that Crazio is sealing the deal. The worker count of Seda is... well, not negative, but there is one SCV mining, the other one's getting repaired, and Crazio is not going to give this away, I am sure. So more tanks rolling up, and the entire mineral line is now completely under Crazio's control. This is the good game. So while we are waiting for McRae's tournament and of course Dave Churchill's tournament at the other side of the ocean, this was this week's broadcast. Thank you all the coders for bringing such good bots to the fore, and the games have been great as usual. So thank you all for watching, hope to see you again next week, and keep recommending me these beautiful replays. You can see my address over here in the top left. So goodbye.